5 months ago, I became a mother of beautiful Leonardo. Here he is. Changed my life quite a lot, and also I started to think much more about the future. How is our life going to be in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years? How are we going to cope with the consequences of the pandemic? Climate change? Will public health care be as good as it is now? As a scientist and a science communicator, I believe that science is the way to create a better future. But I also noticed that when science becomes disconnected from society, it really struggles to produce the results that are relevant, that really help our lives. So I asked myself, what can I do right now to help science being useful and creating a better world for my boy? And I think I have an answer. We have to act now and to help scientists to be relevant for the future society. And today, I will speak about the phenomenon of citizen science, which is the way to do it. I think everyone have heard about Russian COVID vaccine, Sputnik. Despite it was proclaimed the world's first registered COVID vaccine back in August 2020, it suffered from the lack of solid data about its side effects and even efficacy for certain groups of people. This served really a bad service, because when solid scientific data is replaced with political mottos, people tend not to trust. They don't understand how this information was obtained, who is interested in this, who is interested in disturbing these or another ideas. So as a result, people were hesitant to vaccinate. So in the first months of vaccination with Sputnik, just a really small percentage of Russian population took it. And this is not an exception. Rather, it is a general situation. In recent years, people tend not to trust science. And if you think, it's not even that strange. Because for an outsider, science is kind of a black box. You don't know what is inside. You don't know how it works. You don't know why. Some people say it's a magic that works. But what if not? I think the only way we can do is to open this black box, is to show people, little Leonardo or his older grandparents, what is inside it. And not only to show, but also, when it is possible, to invite ordinary people doing science together, co-creating knowledge. In the case of Sputnik vaccine, it was volunteers of phase 3 clinical trials who were the ones to open this black box. What is your function as a volunteer? Of course, first you take this vaccine and then you report to its developers how you feel. This is what they did, but unfortunately the developers of vaccine from Gamaleya Institute were not very eager to share this information back. So this put volunteers in this information vacuum. I know what happens to me, but I don't know what happens to other people. I don't know what is the general picture. But this didn't let them down. What they did is they created a group chat where every volunteer and everyone who took this vaccine could upload their piece of information. What they reported was the date of vaccination, their age and gender, eventual health issues that can influence, and also the concentration of antibodies found in their blood after a certain amount of time. The admins of the group created this standardized procedure because they were researchers themselves, but they were not affiliated with the vaccine developers. After they got this information, they summarized it and they shared it, not only with the group members, but also with broader public. They were giving interviews in mass media. They were publishing in social media. They made this information as accessible as possible. As a result, first, they basically showed that this vaccine is efficient far before the official scientific research article was published by the vaccine developers from Gamaleya Institute. And second, this transparency really boosted trust in Sputnik vaccine, because ordinary people getting this information we're thinking, okay, this is this data set that was gathered by people like us. They reported what they felt. Everyone reported their small piece. So we can trust this information, and it looks like this is a good vaccine. I can take it. Nothing bad is going to happen, and it's going to protect me. This is how citizen science works, by creating knowledge together and sharing it after it. So citizen science is a phenomenon of co-production of scientific knowledge. And its particular beauty is in its horizontal character. So basically, citizens can draw attention of scientists to some problem of theirs that need to be researched, or scientists can ask for help of citizens. This phenomenon is some dozens of years old, but it's really flourishing recently with internet, where we are more connected. Big international citizens projects like Zooniverse, where people analyze space photos, or iNaturalist, where people can take photos of wildlife and upload to a big platform that gathers together this information, are really nice, but they do not really serve smaller needs of smaller communities, of some scientific group or a city or a village. So we, science communicators in Russia from Russian Association of Science Communication, got inspired by a European example of European citizen science project created by German colleagues, and we launched a Russian citizen science platform, People of Science. It's just 1 year old, a little bit older than Leonardo, but we already helped out dozens of citizen science projects to be born. They are very different. They are about psychological health, about watching wildlife, about analyzing space photos too. One of them is very cute. It's about watching hedgehogs. They are not only very nice creatures, but also an indicator of the state of ecosystem around your place. Another project was about snow. So Russia is very big, and it snows in different periods of times. So what volunteers did, they took photos of the first snow, and they reported where they are and what is the date of the first snow, and they described it. And then they were observing snow in their place all winter of 2020-2021 long. This gave the researchers a big data set that is also related with evaluating the impacts of climate change on local weather. Another project is about COVID pandemic, where volunteers were sharing information about how they felt during lockdown, and also about how their habits changed after it, and what are the changes that pandemic brought to their everyday life. As you could notice, the characteristic of all these projects is that they are very distributed. As you know, Russia is very big, and it is totally impossible to send a researcher or a lab worker to every corner. And here, a huge benefit of citizen scientists comes, because citizen scientists are literally everywhere where people live. And this gives scientists a unique opportunity to have the whole picture, be it psychological state of people, or be it snow, or be it apple trees blossom, from every corner of Russia. Isn't it beautiful? And our role as a platform is to help citizens and scientists come together. As a regular researcher, of course, you're not a PR expert, and you don't know how to get to mass media to speak about your project. And you're not a social media expert either. This is our work. We help scientists to formulate instruction that will be clear and straightforward for volunteers, and then to reach out to them, to find a particular groups in social media that can be interested in this very project, or to make a broader outreach. And this is how the whole system gets together and works. So, citizen science is the way when scientists and citizens can help each other. Citizens can call for scientific projects that they find relevant. Scientists can call for help of citizens in the project of societal relevance that lacks funds or simply cannot be even realized without help of citizens. But the key issue here is that we need a lot of people to help to make it working. And we have to start now to have a real result tomorrow. So, of course, you have an access to internet. Come right now, find your National Citizen Science platform and sign up. Every help is valuable. Every 5 minutes spent can make a real difference if we are a lot of us, if we do it together. And if you're a scientist, I'm a happy person that can help you launching your first citizen science project. Leonardo can testify. During these 4 months, he was assisting me in Zoom calls and other communications of scientists who were launching the projects in our platform. And as for him, I'm sure he is going to be a native citizen scientist.